Guys, the Chicago Bulls win in last night's game. Hang on here. The Chicago Bulls win last night's game. 118 to 113 versus the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, here are the I'll just point this out. Um, let's see. Javon Carter 4 for 2, or 4 made field goals, 2 3-pointers made, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 points. Let's see here. Patrick Williams made 2 shots, 1 rebound, 6 points. Alex Caruso, two field goals made. 1 3-pointer made, 11 points. 5 assists. See here, Kobe White had 7 made field goals, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 19 points. DeMar DeRozan, 8 points, or not 8 points, 8 field goals made, 2 3-pointers, 2 free throws. No, wait, 2 rebounds. My bad. 6 assists, 25 points. That was my speaker. I'm going to save the best performance for last, even though DeMar DeRozan had 25 points. That doesn't tell the whole who had the best game out of them. Ayo had 6 made field goals, 2 3-pointers made, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 19 points. And the man of the night, making history, I believe, is now 9th all time. It is sitting 9th all time in Chicago Bulls history as one of the only centers, which of course there's only, you got those few. I'm sure Dennis Rodman at some point was up there. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. But Andre Drummond, what a night he had. He made 11 field goals, 25 rebounds, 1 assist, 24 points. What a game for Andre Drummond. Again, he was one of the favorites that, to me, he was one of my favorite players to pick up when they did, because I've seen Andre Drummond play. Now, is he going to give you that every night? No, but he is consistent when it comes to playing his defense, especially in ISO. Um, when you need a rebound, and I mean, let's just face it, in that game, is he was absolutely just killing the Atlanta or Atlanta Hawks. I am sorry, I almost said Falcons. Atlanta Hawks. So it it sort of makes you look at things like, okay, you got Vooch who just went out in that game with went out before the game, even before that game with a groin injury. He's out 7 to 10 days, but it becomes the question to you. We know that Vooch has a 4-year contract with the Chicago Bulls. Um, and questions will begin to be risen. Um, Drummond is still very much young. He's only 30 years old. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, that's old, man. No, it's not. Vucevic is getting up there in age. I think he's 34 or going to be 34. Something like that. 32, 30. No, he'll be 33. So, you look at how Vooch plays his game and how his performance has been, which has been kind of, not gonna lie, his performance has been kind of lukewarm. Uh, just he has not had the best of performances this year. I know a lot of people will probably crap on me for that. I don't care. I call it as I see it because looking at Drummond now, in this system he fits. In this system of play he fits with this young team because he is a young player, and also guys like DeMar DeRozan who does fit in this system and has proven that you can fit in at his age, which he's 33. Next season he'll be 34. He wants to retire in Chicago. He really wants to retire as a Chicago Bull. Whether if that happens or not, I can see it, but I can also see a situation to where he might want to leave, but that's depending on, in my opinion, if the organization. Shit. Sorry, guys. It just depends on what the organization thinks. Again, we've seen signs of DeMar not really having the best of his games this season. Will that come into effect in the years down? That all becomes question. You like the season's going down the road. You have guys like Kobe White, which I believe he's 23. You got young guys like Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, freaking shoot, where's he at? Julian Phillips, who will eventually, I say eventually, he will see time now, whether that's this season or a little later on down the road, Grant, you don't want to push a rookie. But uh, I think that the outcome of games, like for instance, in last game versus the Cavaliers, was just it couldn't make shots. We couldn't do any of that. We could not get the ball in the basket to save our lives. We played good defense, but then it just came to a point where defense just said, "Nah, I don't want to do this anymore." Uh, Again, that is them being worn down. Playing back-to-back games, even though the games were two separate apart, I believe. Um, and when I mean two separate apart, I mean like two days apart or something. But still, that's only like 2 days to get rest. When you're playing a full on game, you don't expect, you gotta expect that your body's gonna be worn out of the amount of times you played. The minutes that you played in the previous game, it began to show in the Cavaliers game, but we bounced back and get a win versus the Hawks. So yeah, the question really rises on whether this team can be a playoff team. It can be a playoff team. Um, Again, I'm not getting high hopes up this season because it's a young team. Um, I know a lot of people now. This is depending. Whatever happens with the Lonzo Ball situation, it's completely up to up in the air on what happens if Lonzo comes back. And I say it because I don't know if he'll be returning next season or not, because that injury can go different ways. Like, what will he turn out to be in this system? Will he be slower because of his injury? Because no players really came back from this. Uh, yeah, I don't see I don't see yet. I hope, I really do hope that Alonzo can play again. But it's also, you're looking at a situation with two different teams that we had. Will Lonzo fit in this team? I personally think he will, but the question being, will he be able to have that same exact play that he had before his injury? That's going to be the biggest question. Because again, our bodies heal, but they do not create miracles. You may be healed from a broken leg, but there's no guarantee that your leg is going to work like it did before, that you'll be able to run at that speed that you once had. But yeah, um, it was just an all around good game. It was close until the end, which was still a close game at the end of it all. But when you just go out there and perform the way they did, it goes to show what this team is capable of and what they're willing to do at the moment of truth. Again, a famous word from Mike Tomlin. It's not what you're capable of, but what you're willing to do. What you're willing to do to get that win. It's not capable of what you're capable of to out there on the court, but also it's just what you're willing to do to get the victory. Now, another thing I'd like to bring up, now that that is out of the way, um, and I already brought up the Andre Drummond stuff. So yeah, Zach LaVine. He is in the crossroads of the trade deadline. I still think that he'll get traded, but even if not, he'll probably be out. Um, Demand a trade or something next off season, or not play at all. Because I doubt he wants to play for Dilly Donovan, Dilly Donovan, Billy Donovan. Um, but also you gotta think. Zach's gotta think. Will this come back to bite him in the rear if he does not go out and perform, or chooses not to go out and perform? That'll show red flags to all the other organizations um, in the NBA. Will be thinking, man, if he doesn't get his way, look at how he's acting. That could be what they're thinking. That's probably why, another reason why they back out. First it was the Miami Heat, Kings, and now Lakers. Um, L.A. LaVine may not happen. Because they want to go out and get a guy like DeJounte Murray, which, if I'm Los Angeles, I completely agree. I completely agree. I 100% agree with what they're doing. And DeJounte Murray is a young player who can get the job done when need be. He doesn't need to do everything, but he's very good when it comes to his shots. Now, in the game versus Chicago, the shots that I did see him take wasn't like he wasn't making them. Granted, I wasn't watching the game. I was watching the play-by-play on the Chicago Bulls website. Um, it just looked like he was missing a lot of shots, and they tried taking a final shot. It wasn't Dejounte Murray that took it. It was uh, Bogdanovich, and he missed it. Uh, yeah, it just goes to show, like, you don't know what you'll need in a player until you go out and think, okay, I can get Zach LaVine, who can't dribble whatsoever, um, has a horrendous time of making shots this season, or and has a attitude on him going against the coaching staff. Again, that could all be in question for him. That will be in question for him going forward. Will somebody want him, or will he be a free agent guy the rest of his career? I personally think he'll be picked up by somebody. I just don't know who. I still think there's a chance he gets picked up in the trade deadline. Again, it's not over yet, but the window's closing on a LaVine trade. And I'll just say right now, I do not see him playing the rest of these games out. I see him sitting out. Uh, so yeah, it's going to come down to whether or not his personality, how his how can I put this? How his attitude is towards the organizations, how they feel like he would fit in. Now, me personally, I can't see where somebody will not look at him and say, we want you on our team, we do, but we also have to question your your attitude. What will be next? What will be next for Zach LaVine? He'll get traded somewhere. I don't know where. The only thing I hope is that we get young guys who are win now guys out of him. Um, because I love seeing this young team play. It's fun as hell, and it just continues to get better. You look at so many teams that are struggling at times because of young developing players. Chicago right now is in a position where these guys want to win, and they want to win and make it to playoffs. Now, granted, will that happen? I don't know. It's still a little early to tell what's going to happen. It all depends on the development of the team, because the way it's going right now, I'm loving it. I love it. This is the best young core we've had in years. Kobe White just emerging into what could possibly be a superstar for this franchise. Patrick Williams becoming a Patrick Williams becoming a good aggressive forward. Uh, you see what Drummond did tonight. Uh, Again, just a young talent, young developing talent for this team is going to be interesting going forward. How will they develop going through the rest of the season remains to be seen. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is um, a team going in the right direction? I personally think so. Now, Grant, it's a little early to still think that, but I'm I'm solely looking at each performance in every game, but not just the record wise, but how their development as a young team goes, how it works under Billy Donovan. Now, do I think Chicago will win with this young team as with Billy Donovan as the head coach? I don't think so. But again, I could be wrong. Again, everybody's wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Uh, because if you know anything, what's his name? James Deerdorf or something as the owner's name. Uh, 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 John, if I remember correctly, his name was Deerdorf. But yeah, right here it says, uh, Bulls rumors Nikola Vucevic out at least 7 to 10 days with the groin injury amid NBA season. Uh, Man, but you, but yeah, it's all going to depend on the development of this team, and if they continue to put up wins, and if they can get that groove of being consistent after getting a turnover on defense and scoring consistently. Again, they're not going to score every time, but they need to seriously start making more shots at times. And I believe that begins to show when you're looking at a team like the Bulls. You need to be able to finish shots. It becomes more of a reality check in times. I guess you can call it reality check. But again, this is a young team, a young, very young team. Besides Vooch and DeMar, this team's still fairly young. So yeah, what do you guys think? You think that the Chicago Bulls are heading in the right direction? I personally think they are. Just don't expect playoffs this year because you'll end up disappointed if they don't. I'm looking at it as a development year of this team and where we can go moving forward in the very near future. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes along. So yeah. But hopefully next game we play, which is the Indiana Pacers. We play the Pacers tomorrow. Hang on. Yeah, we play the Pacers tomorrow at 8 p.m. And then we move on to December 30th to play the Sixers. Another team that we beat. Now, the question is, will we be able to stop them again? Because the last performance they had versus Sixers was great. Such a great performance. In fact, where's Chicago sim right now? $14 and $18, and they're fourth in the Central. Yeah. They're fourth in their Central standings. The Pacers are 15 and 14, and if Chicago wins next game, they'll be 15 and 18. If they go on to be the 76ers, they'll be 16 and 18. And again, it all depends on if they can build on momentum going into other games. They ride that momentum. Sorry about the headphones making noise, but I had to scratch my head. Again, it's not out of the possibility. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the the Chicago Bulls make the playoffs, but they got to be able to build off of their success and their winning to get that. And they've shown, I believe, at one point they went on a 3-4 game winning streak. I know they can build off of that and get even more wins. So it all depends on how they play, if they can perform well enough. Again, they're not in a terrible position to be in playoffs. You got Milwaukee number 1, Cavaliers sitting second, Pacers third, us fourth, Pistons fifth. And anybody looking at my jersey, yes, I am a Warriors fan as well. And keep in mind, this was when the Warriors had that down year. is when I became a fan. But if I had to choose which team I want to win between the two versus each other, I'm picking Chicago all the way because I'm more of a die-hard Bulls fan than I am Warriors fan. Take you like you want, but and another team that's really been in the Southeast. Look at the Magic, 18 and 11 on a 2-game win streak. They got the Heat is sitting second. The Magic have really shocked me. They have really, really shocked me on how well they're performing in games. Now I know some people are going like, "What do you mean performing good in games?" But they're I get they're 18 and 11. Okay, they've lost 11 games, but they've won 18. And they're sitting first. And I'm just looking at this as a positive. You know, if you are the Chicago Bulls and you have a young team that came in, didn't know what was going to happen after Zach LaVine went down, and Kobe White is now up there with Steph Curry, Trae Young, and all of them. This season, in the short amount of time he's had, he's already up there with them in the shooting percentage of 3-pointers. So, again, could he win comeback player of the year? It's a possibility. Or not comeback player, but most improved player. Very good possibility. Depending on what happens, I say that he will win it. But again, there's other players that will be in that race too, not just him. So it's a good possibility he doesn't. Now, if they make playoffs, I'll probably say that they'll give it to Kobe White. But if they don't make playoffs, they probably won't give it to him. It's stupid, I know, but that's how sports is nowadays, I'm afraid. It's like you look at teams now, you're comparing players. Comparing Michael Jordan and LeBron James. LeBron James is a 2000s player, and Jordan was a 80s and 90s player. Those are two totally different careers, but I will always sit here and say that Jordan is number one. So, yeah. It's all about what you guys prefer. But, yeah, if. See right over here. Sucks because I don't have a light, but that's my Michael Jordan poster. Right over here, we got another Bulls poster. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that in the best possible way. So yeah, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, good win for the Bulls. Hopefully they can build off of it. And until next time, you all have a blessed time and a blessed day.